against lefties is something you've done with other young players, like True, right? Like Duran, Devers, all of them. What is it? At what point do you start giving them the opportunities against elite lefties? I didn't mean it in that sense, like a date. Like,
yeah. We got to find a way to play, and we cannot play 13 position players. We cannot. So I get it, I understand. There's, people get frustrated, and I get frustrated too, because I get the same question over and over again. But I've been doing it since 2018 like this, like Rafi Devers platoon in 2018, and right now he's one of the best hitters in the big league. So, it's not that I have this formula that says, you cannot face lefties, but Eduardo Nunez was good against righties, and then in 19 we let him hit and he was really good, Rafi. So I don't know. Honestly, I cannot answer the question, to be honest with you.
Alex Cora is irritated, if you ask me. He's tired of the questions regarding Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer. And again, I've said this before, I think this is at the crux of what is wrong with the Red Sox. That Alex Cora is trying to run a baseball team and manage it as if he has a veteran roster and there are certain guys that are going to get platooned, and he's trying to win games and get into the playoffs. And the Red Sox baseball operations department, specifically the chief baseball officer, meaning Craig Breslow, is more interested in the development of the players than he is in winning the games. This has been at the essence of the dispute or dysfunction with the Red Sox now for 5 or 6 years, or something close to it. 4 or 5. Draw the line wherever you want. After the first year or 2021 season. Mm-hmm. So that would have been the first year of Cora and Bloom, because Cora missed 2020. But since that time, I don't think the Red Sox and the uniformed and non-uniformed personnel of the Red Sox have been on the same page. But we start tonight with the lineup because, wouldn't you know, the Yankees are in town. Except nobody's talking about that because the Red Sox aren't in the same class as the Yankees anymore. 617-779-0985. We usually call these Roundtable Fridays, but again, Matt McCarthy just gave me the best stat of the baseball season thus far, Jimmy Stewart, as it pertains to the Baseball Roundtable Friday here on the Baseball Hour. Usually, or I shouldn't say usually, the idea, the intent was to have me, Milliken, and McCarthy all together in studio on Friday to wrap up the week.
To be totally honest, Mazz, I think the intent was you take every Friday off in the summer and Milliken and I would just be scheduled to fill in all summer long.
Okay, so that is ultimately what happened. But the idea was to make it a group think, right? That was the idea. Jimmy, what number Friday is this of the baseball season? Oh, you don't.
Would this be like 14?
You don't know. I thought you did this with Jimmy.
Oh, no, I did this out back with Jeremy Conley.
Oh,
this
all
is
right, then.
Friday, number 12. Okay. Friday 12 of the baseball season.
So I lose under Price is Right rules because I went over.
Correct.
So, Jimmy, actually, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking to you. I got that wrong. So I'll ask McCarthy and Jimmy.
He was talking to the Jeremy Conley.
You will be surprised by the number.
Okay.
McCarthy, what number Friday is this of the baseball season?
12.
And how many times have you, Milliken, and I been together?
3. That's a .250 batting average,
yes.
Which actually is probably target right where the Red Sox want it. That's probably what Driveline wants, Mazz, because we don't want to put the ball in play. We want to put the ball over the fence. So .250, perfect.
Right.
We're crushing it.
And
by modern-day standards, we're crushing it.
And our 3 for 12, Stu, in our 3, we do hit for power. So there's no question. But anyway, Let me give you.
brings the thump.
I'm getting a little off track. Let me give you the, if I still have it here. The
Tyler
lineup.
brought so much thump, he threw his back out.
Here is the lineup for tonight's game against the Yankees, and then we'll play some Alex Cora sound for you. We'll play some Jared Carrabis sound for you. But the Yankees are going to throw 3 lefties at Fenway Park, so this is what you're getting tonight. Ref Snyder in left. Devers at DH. Romy Gonzalez batting third, playing first base. Incredibly, I was able to say that with a straight face. And I know what the numbers are. He excels against left-handed pitching. It still sounds ridiculous to say Romy Gonzalez as the number 3 hitter. I get it. It's just a hard thing to say and accept. Narvaez is catching, batting fourth. Roman Anthony in right field, batting fifth. Story is the shortstop. Abraham Toro is at third base. It says first base here, but it's third base. He is replacing Marcelo Meyer. Raphael is in center. Campbell's at second. Garrett Crochet on the mound for the Red Sox. So what are your thoughts on the lineup, Matt McCarthy? What are your thoughts on the idea, really more specifically, that Meyer and Anthony are going to be basically held out, generally speaking, against left-handed pitchers?
So after all the talk and discussion this week and Cora getting so defensive on Wednesday about the lineup approach, I actually don't hate the actual result on Friday, which is we're going to let Roman Anthony hit against a junk ball lefty. And that's what Yarborough is. I mean, he does not throw hard. You know, he's a guy that you want to attack, and he's a good lefty to introduce Anthony against. I probably would put Meyer in there too, but it kind of seems like the plan is Anthony's going to sit tomorrow, Meyer's going to play tomorrow, Duran will get back in the lineup. I don't hate the approach from Cora. I hate the attitude on Wednesday. That's what I don't like about this. This actually makes some level of baseball sense. I can kind of defend this one tonight. I'm glad that Anthony's in the lineup. He should be in the lineup against this type of lefty. You want to sit him against Max Fried on Sunday? Fine. Sit him against Max Fried. Don't sit these guys against Ryan Yarborough. Just don't do that.
So here is my question as it relates to the fan base. Because I think there's an interesting dilemma here that if you say you want Anthony and Meyer in the lineup, and I'm just going to play it straight here. Let's make it simple. Anthony and Meyer play, Ref Snyder and Gonzalez don't. Okay? Now, again, I know it's more complicated than that, but let's just play along with it. The point being is that Ref Snyder and Romy Gonzalez are both good against left-handed pitching. In fact, they're excellent at it. Mm-hmm. Both of them have OPSs approaching 1,000 against left-handed pitching. And Ref Snyder has been terrific against lefties now since he got here. Honestly, he started to hit lefties the year before he got here, which is why the Red Sox picked him up. He's been here ever since. This is 3 or 4 years now for Ref Snyder with the Red Sox?
Yeah, he's a professional left-handed pitching hitter. No doubt about it.
I mean, he's a weapon against lefties.
It's really good against him.
So the idea of Ref Snyder being in there should appeal to you. And it also should be an indication that if you were a winning team, this is typically how you would do it. So Felger made a reference today to something that was written by Gabrielle Starr in the Herald, that when Cora cites Rafael Devers not playing against lefties in 2018, the Red Sox were a different kind of club. They were a team that went 108-54, won 11 more games in the postseason, so they finished with 119 wins, and they could spot Devers in and out of the lineup whenever they wanted because they were such a wagon that they didn't need Devers in there all the time, and Devers wasn't the sole centerpiece of their future. These guys are. So the circumstances are definitely different. In the same breath, I'll tell you as a fan, what do you want? Do you want them to keep playing games as if they're meaningful, trying to win them, or do you basically want to already jump in with the approach of, no, develop the kids, we suck anyway? So it's 70 games in. It's not 110. So there is still a lot of baseball to be played, and I do think the Red Sox can get back in this, especially if they played like they played the last couple of games. They won a game 3-1, and they won a game 4-3. That's a good sign. Jared Carrabis wants the lefties in the lineup. He wants Meyer and Anthony in the lineup and raises some good points and some reasons as to why. Here's what Jared said the other night.
I tweeted it this morning. I said, I hate that they're not letting them face lefties. Like, this should be treated as a developmental year. Let them develop. How do you know? Like, if you look at Roman Anthony's numbers against lefties in AAA, he's hitting like 360 with a 9-something OPS. He was crushing lefties. And Cora said something to the effect of, well, the lefties up here are different.
Correct.
They're much better. Okay, well, how do we know he can't hit them? If you don't let him face them, how do we know that he can't hit them?
Right.
I hate that, especially because if you're going to really go for it next year, when are they going to get the experience against lefties? How do you know that they can't hit big league lefties?
So that point in particular to me is a good one. Both these guys have hit lefties in the minors, although I think Meyer less so. At times has hit lefties, is how I should say it. So in the big leagues, how do you know until you let them do it? Now, from what I understand, and I've been told, Meyer struggles more with lefty spin than with lefty fastballs.
Right. So Yarborough isn't as good a matchup for Meyer as, say, maybe Rodon.
Okay.
Or Fried over the weekend, although Fried can do everything.
So now, Matt, this is one of the things that, this is a total sort of side topic. But one of the things that bugs me is someone should ask Cora that. Like, I would like it, and I would love to hear Cora explain why, so that we have it on the record. At a minimum, you get it on the record and you can cite it for future reference whenever there's some sort of decision to be made involving players. Well, you said this back then. But it's a legit question tonight. Why Anthony and not Meyer specifically? And Cora kind of danced around that because he probably doesn't want to say, well, one guy's better against fastballs. But what he could say is it's got more to do with the pitcher and the matchup and maybe the arsenal and things like that, without saying it as bluntly as maybe we would want him to say. So I just think that, to me now, the irony in this whole thing, Matt, and I said this last night, so forgive me if I'm repeating this for you, but my issue with the lineup the way it is tonight is not that Meyer isn't playing per se. It's who's playing in place of him, and that's Abraham Toro. Yep. Now, Toro has played well for the Red Sox, but his OPS against left-handed pitching is at 650. So, in other words, he's not offensively because he bats from the right side against left-handers. It feels to me like the majority of his damage has come from the left side of the plate.
Right, and I'd rather have the glove if we're talking about two guys who we don't think are going to hit a lefty.
Right. So, now look, again, it sounds like Meyer's going to be in there tomorrow. I know Cora also wants to reward veteran players who are doing their jobs and establishing a culture and understand their roles. And that might be a big one for Cora, that, hey, not everybody gets to play every night. Look at these guys. They're setting an example in the clubhouse. Ref Snyder's been doing it since he got here. So they're performing when they play. I'm going to keep giving them the time. Because this is ultimately what we all have to buy into if we want to be a winning team. And if that's the case, I can get behind that. Because, again, I don't want them to start treating this like a post-trading deadline season and they sold off parts. We're not there yet. I wish they were playing better than they were. I think they have the capacity to play better than they have. But I don't want them quitting 70 games in when they're only a few games out of a wild card spot.
Yeah, I think you're totally right about that. And Mazz, I think these next 2 weeks for the Red Sox are the most important 2 weeks of the season. This is the biggest series of the season so far. You've built a little bit of momentum in the last week. You got good news on the injury front today with Bregman. It sounds like he might be back before the All-Star break. Houck's going out on a rehab assignment. Abreu should rejoin the team next weekend. Like, it's go time now. So I do want Alex Cora to manage these games to give them the best chance to win. Like, over the course of 162, you have to punt on a game. You have to punt on a week, whatever that is. Like, baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. Not right now. Nope. These are the 2 most important weeks of the season. You need to survive this. If you even thrive through it and you play pretty well, you're going to get the reinforcements back and then you're off and running. So I have no problem with Cora getting 2 right-handed hitters in the lineup. Here's the thing, though. It's not an absolute. And I know we deal with absolutes in sports talk radio, but you can get Ref Snyder and Gonzalez in the lineup without getting Meyer and Anthony out of the lineup.
Correct.
They did it tonight, partially. I would argue that Meyer should be in there instead of Toro, but doesn't that prove that You can get Gonzalez in the lineup without taking Meyer out of the lineup. There are different ways to manage this, and Alex Cora is one of the highest paid managers in baseball. So what I don't want is the attitude that I've been getting from Cora all week. I want him to go out there and actually manage the damn thing, because these are the two most important weeks of the season up until this point for the Red Sox. Can he do that, or is he going to get caught up in the whole thing and get all defensive about this thing the way he did on Wednesday? That's what I'm going to be watching for over the next 2 weeks. How he manages this whole thing, and whether or not his attitude gets in the way.
So the Cora's attitude you can hear on some of these cuts that we're going to play when we come back. And also, I'll ask this question as well. What if Cora's attitude isn't necessarily a bad thing? Because we'll play a cut for you again from Michael Hawley earlier in the week, where he talked about how Cora has seemed disengaged or disconnected this year more than others. And when you hear his comments from pregame tonight, in addition to the ones we've already played, he doesn't sound like a guy that's disengaged. He sounds like a guy that's irritated at being questioned, which tells me he is engaged. So, and maybe that has changed in the last couple of days. I wonder about that a little bit. Anyway, 617-779-0985. We'll get to your calls when we come back on the Baseball Hour.
The base. Red Sox take a 2-1 lead on solo home runs off of Zach Littell in the early going. There's a swing. There's a drive. Down into that corner again. Yes, sir. His second one of the ball game. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. And the Red Sox lead it 3-1 on 3 solo home runs.
That's what happened the last time Marcelo Meyer was on the field. 2 home runs. Red Sox win the game 4-3. Out of the lineup tonight. Again, to me, the issue with Meyer not playing is unrelated to Gonzalez and Refsnyder being in the lineup, because Meyer could be in there and Toro could sit. And Toro has not hit from the right side. He hasn't hit from either side in his career. He's actually been consistent. Mm-hmm. But now, with the Red Sox, he's been really good from the left side of the plate. So, I think the idea initially was that they were going to platoon them at first base. And then when Bregman went down, it was, well, maybe we can get some at-bats out of Toro at third. I just don't think Toro's as good defensively as Meyer. But let's take a couple of calls, and then we'll get to Cora's comments from tonight, because I do think that, you can hear some of the irritation or tension in Cora's voice. And I'm not saying he's ready to, blow up, but he's tired of being asked about the lineup. Clearly,
well, he's in the wrong field of work, Mazz.
And you're gonna hear some of that when he answers some of these questions. Anthony's in Winthrop on Alex Cora's pregame. Get Anthony.
Mazz, thanks for taking the call. I think Jared Carrabis hit the nail on the head. The two guys have to play every day so that we can see what they're made of. And if we have better alternatives, I'm all for platooning. But Abraham Toro isn't the answer, and you got to give the young kid an at bat and see if he can get some production out of that third base position with Bregman out.
So look, Anthony, I feel the same way. The thing that I am most interested in is, does the front office want Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer in the lineup? So Matt, let me ask you that: do you think they are in alignment on how they're doing this?
Oh, probably not. I mean, they're not in alignment on anything. Why would they be in alignment on this? So no, I'm sure they're not.
So I don't think they're in alignment either. I think that Cora wants to coach for the now or manage for the now. And I think that Breslow is more interested in the future. And I think this has been one of the fundamental problems with the Red Sox over the last 5 years, is that the GM's more interested in the future and the manager wants to win now. We have games to play. We have games to win. That's the job. And I think on that one, I'm with Cora.
But as you and I have been saying for years, Mazz, and real quick on this, you can do both at the same time. Yes, they can manage to win tonight's game by getting Gonzalez and Refsnyder in the lineup, but still keep the kids in there. Do you really need Christian Campbell in the lineup tonight? Do you really need Abraham Toro in the lineup tonight? There are ways they can get around this. They're too dug in. Cora has planted his flag and Breslow has planted his flag. They're too dug in on either side of this. There's middle ground to be had here.
There usually is. Sean in Colorado. Sean, what do you got?
Hey, guys. I was looking at the lineup today, and it brought up some interesting points. Obviously, they sat Duran, which opened up left field, and they still decided to keep Roman Anthony in right field. So it got me thinking 2 points. One, are we thinking backwards of how they developed their outfielders in AAA since the wall's actually in right field in Worcester? And two, if they're adamant about keeping Roman Anthony in right field, regardless of if left field is open or not, does this suggest they could potentially be looking at Wilyer Abreu as a trade candidate to bring in an arm? I think he brings in more value to teams that are looking to be sellers because he has that control and youth that Duran just doesn't have. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks for the call, Sean. Matt, what do you make of the defensive alignment with Anthony?
I have no idea what to make of it, other than the Red Sox have no idea what the hell they're doing. I mean, I hope you're right, but Sean, you're working under the assumption that the Red Sox have a plan and have something that they want to execute with one of these kids, because they keep moving all of them around. So this is exactly what they've done. They've brought up Campbell. They've moved him all around. They can't figure out his position. They're playing Meyer at a position, which is not as big a deal because a shortstop can play third base. But Anthony, who's probably your left fielder of the future, is playing right field, even though he's barely played right field this year in the minors, and is not probably a right fielder at Fenway Park, but they just stick him out there anyway. So I think it's probably more consistent with the inconsistent approach that the Red Sox have had with their young players and their positional alignment. They don't put enough thought into it. Simply put, it's not a good way to approach these kids, and they're screwing it up left and right.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong, but down at AAA, Anthony had been playing primarily left field.
Yes, because he is a left fielder. He's going to be a left fielder in the big leagues. He's probably not a center fielder. He's probably not a right fielder at Fenway Park. Maybe a right fielder at Yankee Stadium, not at Fenway Park. So he's going to be a left fielder moving forward. He's never going to win a Gold Glove, but he'll be fine there. But let's put this kid out of position and make him play the toughest right field in baseball. Do they think over there? What the hell are they doing?
So that
makes no sense to me.
Well, and I'll tell you what, the other thing, Matt, is if you think of it, they are being careful about how they let them face left-handed pitching. Yet they have no reservations about putting him into right field at Fenway Park.
No regard for it.
So it does seem it's a little odd. I mean, that part of it I agree with. But again, the Red Sox aren't built the way they were many years ago when they would integrate young players and protect them. They're not protecting these guys anymore. So at least not completely. 617-779-0985. Again, we'll get to those Cora thoughts, the Cora sound from pregame tonight when we come back on the Baseball Hour. Matt McCarthy has your headlines. See, instinctively, I look to my left, Matt.
He's not there. No Majori tonight.
So, and it's a good thing that Kevin Majori's not here because otherwise I'd have made the same mistake. McCarthy's got your headlines. Don't go anywhere.
Essential Sports Hub headline.
Is in the line.
The final scores, which to me, like, now that is something that I will pay attention to when you start winning 3-1 and 4-3 and not 10-8. And the games in New York over the weekend that were basically outscoring the opposition 11-6 or whatever the hell it was. You know, that kind those games tell me nothing. They tell me nothing because you're not asked to execute, you know, in a tight, low-scoring game. Those are the low-scoring games. To me, can often give you some indication as to what type of fundamental baseball you're playing. You're not just slapping the ball all over the ballpark. So I get more interested in games of 4-3 and 3-1. Now, look, if you're a wagon and you're like the 03-04 Red Sox or the Dodgers now, or, you know, teams that could just rake, well, then you're impressed by the offense.
Right. If you have Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz in the middle of your lineup, not Abraham Toro and Carlos Narvaez. But you put up 10 runs.
Right. But I would also tell you that those teams, as gifted as they were offensively, fundamentally were pretty sound.
Yes.
So they had a couple of weak spots, but nothing so glaring that you would say it's going to bite them in the ass.
Something tells me they would have been able to execute an infield fly. Just a random guess.
Among other things, Matt. So good point by you. So Cora's opening question about the lineup we've already played. You know what? It runs 44 seconds. So this is what happens when the sound comes in late. Jimmy can give me what's called a cut sheet and just has the audio listed. Some of the stuff I haven't even heard, but that can be the fun part of it. This one you have heard. This is Cora 1. Again, just so you have it on your mind. Cora being asked, first question out of the gate about the lineup choices tonight.
So Roman's playing today and not Duran. Duran just kind of want to go through that.
Cannot play them all. Play Roman today. Feel the matchup is a good one. Ref leading off, Roman hitting third. Just kind of like felt like it's the right one for this matchup, and then we'll decide tomorrow what we're going to do. We'll take it day by day, and they're going to get at bats. They will. Everybody will. We just have to make sure, with Jaron, it was also too, he's been playing a lot. Giving him 2 days is good. You saw him limping the other day after a swing, the slide at third. So it's not that he's grinding physically, but it's good for him to have two. And, we'll go from there.
Okay, more coming on Jarren Duran in a minute. But Cora goes on because there was a follow-up immediately asked about Marcelo Meyer. But you heard at the beginning of the question, can't play them all. As if to say, like, get off my back, I can't play 13 guys.
Yeah, because you have 13 guys really worth playing, Alex. Come on.
So, but here is the follow-up on Marcelo Meyer.
1927.
How hard is it to sit Marcelo knowing he just had a 2-homer game his last time out?
Well, Torres playing third and Romi's playing first. So they're doing a good job, too. Most likely he'll play third tomorrow. But this is where we at. We got 13 good position players, and we'll use the roster to our advantage.
So he never answered this question. The question was, how difficult was it to not play Meyer after he hit 2 home runs? And he said Gonzalez is playing first, Toro's playing third.
You hear how defensive he got with
yes.
that? Come on, Alex.
So you know what he wanted to say? Not that hard. This is the right thing to do tonight. So now again.
Why is he so bitchy about basic baseball questions?
Okay,
right.
But I'll tell you what, Jimmy. I actually think this is a good sign. And I'll tell you why.
Like, he has this attitude like, how dare you question my lineup?
I know. It's arrogant. It's arrogant.
You're the manager of the Boston Red Sox. People are going to question your lineup.
But it tells me that Cora's got some of the energy to spar and that it means enough to him for him to push back on it. So maybe he's really just pushing back on the fact that someone's questioning him and he isn't like that, which it very well could be that.
He definitely doesn't.
Why isn't Duran in the lineup? Answer. Well, he's 0 for 7 against Ryan Yarbrough with 5 strikeouts, and he needs a day. He needs 2 days. Done. Answer. No attitude. Basic baseball question. Why can't he do that?
So he could do that. He could. I'm not telling you I like the way he's answered it either. I also wonder whether he's getting tired of answering it because the front office is asking him the same thing.
Oh, too bad. You're the manager of the Boston Red Sox. You got to deal with 50 beat writers a day. deal with it. Or become Jason Varitek, become a bench coach, and then you don't have to deal with it.
It's not what it once was, Mazz, and you can speak to this better than anybody. It's probably easier than it's ever been to manage the Boston Red Sox. And Cora's got an issue with everybody.
So that I would agree with.
He's got an issue with the media.
I mean, the part of it being easier. Go ahead.
He's got an issue with the front office. Maybe just Alex Cora is the issue. Have you ever wondered that?
He's the bad roommate.
You're right, Jimmy. Eventually, when you keep talking about how bad your roommates are, you are the bad roommate. I have such a problem with the attitude. And I know you say maybe this is a good thing. He's ready to spar. Cora's been sparring with people for years now. He was just sparring with the front office, and he apparently still, according to June Lee last night on this program, has an issue with the front office. Now he's sparring with the media because the media actually has something to question him about because the roster is better than it's been in recent years, and now you have decisions to make with these young kids, and Cora doesn't want to take it from the media. He doesn't want to take it from the front office. Eventually, he's the problem. Tony, he is. He's the problem.
So I'll tell you this. If this is him digging the front office, he's absolutely the problem. And honestly, independent of that, he has been the problem. When you change GMs and you still have the same dysfunction, maybe it's not the GMs who are the problem. That part I agree with. I'm just telling you that, the Michael Hawley made a comment that we played earlier in the week about Cora being disengaged. If he's fighting back, then I'm just telling you that maybe that's a sign that he's engaged. I'm not telling you that he's always doing the right thing.
About time. Third highest paid manager in the game. He should be engaged.
So now here's a question about Jarren Duran that I have a different interpretation of than was given in this answer. So I said to you earlier, I haven't listened to all this sound.
It's a McAdam question, so bear with us.
This one I did listen to. Jimmy, go ahead.
Jarren's stolen base attempts are down from a year ago. Is that kind of by design? You don't want him getting beat up, or is that opportunity?
Both, and there was, what was it, two games, right, that he got thrown out with Rafi at the plate late in games. I think from there he kind of like it's letting Rafi do his thing. But I think it's more that than anything else. It's nothing that, we told him, hey, slow down, keep your body fresh, this and that. We'll pick and choose to do it, but I think it's more that mentality, right? Those two, it was an extra inning, if I'm not mistaken. We tied the game with him, and then he took off. He got thrown out, and he was like, man, I got Rafi behind. And like, well, Rafi's been behind you for a while now. We knew that.
It seems like the last couple of games, actually.
Jimmy, we can stop there. So, you know what? I'll tell you what I took out of that answer. I think they told Duran to cut it out.
Yep.
I don't think Cora presented it as Duran said to him, oh, geez, I heard us doing that. No. I think that they said to him, hey, look, slow down a little bit. You got Rafi behind you. We don't want to open up first base. And so if you're not running all the time, it's okay. We don't need you to run all the time. We need you to run strategically.
I couldn't agree more, Mazz, but this is also a managerial failure. This is why you should not hit, and Jimmy, I know you're going to appreciate this, you don't hit your best hitter second, especially when you have no protection for your best hitter behind him, because now you have neutered Duran in the running game. Devers should be batting third. Duran should be leading off, because then when Duran gets on, because he's one of the two guys on the team that actually really can hit, then he can run, because Devers isn't behind him. But if you run Duran, he takes second base, they're going to pitch around and or walk Devers to get to Abraham Toro or Carlos Narvaez or whoever the hell you have batting third that day, because they can't protect Devers. This is a managerial failure. He needs to push back on the analytics on this one. They say you hit your best hitter second. No, you don't hit your best hitter second. You hit your best hitter third here, because now we've completely taken away the advantage of Jarren Duran in the leadoff spot. Is that just simple baseball, or do we not talk about simple baseball anymore?
No, we don't talk about that anymore, Matt. Jimmy, tell him.
Because if you have a two-hitter like a Dustin Pedroia who will get more fastballs and barrel more balls, you can hit and run with Duran, and then you can create a first and third. And Duran's quick enough where a ball dumped into right field by a good contact hitter could score Duran from first base. And you can run up pitch counts, and maybe somebody makes a mistake for the third batter and Devers hits into one. And now you've got a 3-run homer instead of a 2-run homer. Or a walk because Devers is just walking because he's too selective.
The problem with you guys is you think they still play baseball. They don't.
No, that's very apparent. The Red Sox hate the idea that baseball is a situational game.
Well, you know what? When they played baseball and they were cheating, they were winning championships. Go back to that.
Okay, caller number 4 is was asked about Trevor's Story. We can skip that one. I know the story on Trevor's Story.
He sucks.
Okay, I don't know. I don't need to know why Trevor's Story is hot because I don't think it's going to last, so I'm not going to waste my time on that one. Caller number 5 and having a productive right-handed hitter. Jimmy, let's go with that one.
Yeah, you'll hate it.
For you to have a right-handed hitter who, who's starting to, to really get into some balls like that, like how important is that to have to lengthen out the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, everybody makes a big deal of the decisions that we made in the off season with Alex, but if you think about it, T.O. hit 30. Obviously, this is a different hitter, but you got the right-handed bat. We need our right-handed hitters to step up, and that's Sedon and Story. The decision on second base was a lot based on the right-handed bat. So here, doubles are great from lefties. Oh, shoot the ball the other way, hit it off the wall. But, fly balls that go over the wall. You see Carlos the other day. He didn't crush that ball to left center, but he played. It was an extra base hit. So those right-handed hitters, they're looking better the last few weeks, and hopefully they can continue to do that.
So I actually put some stock in this, that I think when their lineup gets balanced, they play better.
Yep.
And so they're starting to score some runs because they're getting more balance from the lineup, and the right-handed batters have been giving them a little bit of something lately. But again, if Story's your best right-handed hitter, you're in trouble. They need Bregman back because Story's not good enough. It's just that right now he's hot. Question number 6 was about Garrett Crochet. Jimmy, do I have to listen to this?
So I think that this is interesting, and I actually tipped Chris Cotillo off to this.
Okay.
So if Garrett Crochet...
Is this about the pitch count?
Yes.
Okay, go.
So what was made of when you guys had the deload day for Crochet against the Mets? Now that you have that built-in off day every Thursday and you're into June, is it, go with no restrictions at all with your guys?
I mean, we'll gather information from the medical staff, and then we decide what we have to do. Obviously, at one point, we probably have to do it. It's the nature of the business, and you have to take care of him, right? And we'll take advantage of the off days, but at the same time, we have to be smart too.
Oh, I hate that. So is tonight a deload day? What is he over his last 2 starts?
So this would be his 3rd start.
Right.
The last 2, he threw 209 pitches, I believe.
Oh, here we go.
91 pitches for tonight.
Oh, boy. When you actually have the pitching advantage, too, this is the one game in the series where you truly have the edge. You need this game tonight, and we're going to take him out when he hits 91 pitches, because that's what I took away from that answer. Oh, that sucks.
You're welcome.
So that's
Thank
something.
you, Jimmy.
That's something for people to watch in this game tonight. Keep an eye on his pitch count. I said this to McCarthy a little while ago. You got to win this game. You got a little thing going here. They haven't won 3 in a row since the end of April. Is that right? I think they don't.
Can believe
they
it.
haven't won 3 games in a row since the end of April. The Yankees have Yarborough going tonight. You have Crochet. You're playing well or playing better. You're in your ballpark. You got a little juice from Roman Anthony coming up this week. The Red Sox have sort of been, I don't want to say there's a buzz. That's too strong. But they've been a little bit better the last couple of days. You're going to pull this guy out of the game tonight? That would be a mistake. I look at the rest of these cuts. Okay, you played the Crochet one. Bregman update, I don't care. Oh, he's not there yet.
It is good news, though. He's probably going to be ready before the All-Star break.
Okay, I'll believe that when I see it.
And no rehab games, likely.
Tanner,
right, because he cares and wants to compete, unlike the rest of these guys.
Tanner, and he's a veteran guy, so he'll get what he wants.
He wants to win.
Tanner Houck may start a rehab assignment Wednesday. I don't care about that. Roman's first week in the big leagues. I don't care about that. I've seen it. Meyer comp. I heard a little bit of that one. I thought it sucked, and I have no interest in Core 11, which is on Hendricks and Slayton. We'll be right back with your calls on Felger. Baseball Hour with Matt McCarthy, Roundtable Friday. So we talked about this last segment. Core talking about the pitch limits on Garrett Crochet. That Jimmy Stewart made this point earlier in the year that when the Red Sox pulled him from the game, Jimmy, who was that against? When took the Mets when they took him out with 85 pitches. Good job, McCarthy. They took him out with 85 pitches. Tom Caron explained on the postgame show that it's 300 pitches over every 3 games. Well, in the last 2 games, Jimmy said he's thrown 209 combined.
Yeah.
So that puts him at 91 pitches. And the way he answered that question, Jimmy, let's play the very beginning of it again. He avoids the question, is what he does. Just the very beginning. Go ahead.
A lot was made of when you guys had the deload day for Crochet against the Mets. Now that you have that built-in off day every Thursday and you're into June, is it, go with no restrictions at all with your guys?
I mean, we'll gather information from the medical staff, and then we decide what we have to do. Obviously, at one point, we probably have to do it. It's the nature of the business, and you have to take care of him, right? And we'll take advantage of the off days, but at the same time, we have to be smart too.
Dodge. Oh, brother. Go ahead, Matt.
No, it's a dodge. It's a complete dodge. You know why? Because he probably is on a 91 pitch limit tonight, which he's not going to come out and tell the Yankees, because then that changes their strategy to get Crochet out of the game in the one game this weekend where the Yankees don't have the pitching matchup advantage. I hate this. I absolutely hate this. Mazz, over the course of 162 games, you do have to punt every once in a while. I get that. I understand that. But over the course of the next 2 weeks, it's the most important 2 weeks of the season for the Red Sox. You've got momentum going right now. You mentioned they haven't won three in a row since going back to April. You've got a big series. This is the biggest series of the season so far. Tonight isn't the night you back off of Crochet. Tonight's the night you push Crochet. And then what, in Seattle next week? Okay, maybe a back off. Not tonight. Definitely not tonight. Do we approach anything with urgency over there?
No.
I hate it. I hate it.
Same.
No wonder you finish 500 every freaking year, because if you never manage or approach anything with any level of urgency, you're going to get the mean result, right in the medium, right in the middle. 81 and 81. It is the entire essence of this franchise.
And we know that they're going to be down 1-0 because Crochet's going to throw a fastball to Paul Goldschmidt if he's leading off.
There's that
and
too.
Goldschmidt's going to hit it out of the park.
Very good, Jimmy. There's that too. So I'll tell you what. We've spent all this time wondering whether Meyer and Anthony would be in the lineup, and maybe we missed the lead. We buried the lead. The question isn't whether they're going to play. It's how long Crochet's going to last.
You're welcome.
That's the question. Very good, Jimmy Stewart.
God's work back there, Jimmy Stewart. Thank you.
Matt McCarthy, thank you as always.
Anytime, Mazz.
I just got to try to get Milliken to you and Milliken here both on a Friday.
So next week is the summer of Mazz starting?
Right.
Maybe.
I don't think Mazz is here next Friday.
Because we might have a substitute for you, Tony, next week.
It's possible. It could start next week.
About 2 weeks from now.
I won't. No, 2 weeks from now I should be here.
Well, if you're in next week, we might have a 4th member of the Roundtable.
Really?
Based on scheduling.
Okay.
Oh.
Tell me off the air. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. Anyway, Joe Murray is coming up next. I think he's just a few steps away, hopefully. McCarthy will get you caught up on headlines. Enjoy the game. Have a nice weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, too, and we'll see you on Monday.
See you, Mazz.
From the Telstra Time Studios, WBZ HD1.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Mazz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sport.